on this edition of ATV News.
Help me to see who actually cares about the students.
We'll show you how a town hall debate may have swayed voters.
Even though it was really difficult, the legislature did allow us to reinvest those funds.
We'll show you how the university made sure they didn't lose out on $12 million.
Or are there? We'll show you in weather. It looks like there are two Boise State teams in here. I'll show you how we put them there in sports.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
From the campus of Utah State University in Logan, Utah, the Department of Communication and Media presents the award-winning newscast, ATV News.
I feel like the little guy just doesn't get enough representation up here.
USU students have cast their votes and are now waiting to learn who will represent them in student government. Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Kinsey Bitterman.
And I'm Cadence Mitchell. After weeks of campaigning across campus, student election results are now in at Utah State. More than 25 students ran for positions in student government this year. ATV's Olivia Hatfield is live at the announcement with a look at how the race unfolded. Olivia?
Hey Cadence, thanks. Yeah, I'm here in the hub in the TSC. It is packed because Student Body President was just announced, but that's not all. Candidates took all week running their campaigns from town halls to rainy days on the quad. I'll take you I'll show you a closer look at what it took to get here tonight.
We will then have the opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal, starting with Kaylee.
Around 30 students attended a town hall where candidates answered questions and made their case to voters.
Lots of ideas.
I really like the questions that we were given. I feel like they allowed me to really express who I am and what I want to do as Student Body President. I really don't feel like there could have been better questions.
They learned about all the positions, and I believe it's...
One candidate says they didn't know what they were walking into.
I had no clue what to expect. Like legitimately, I sat there and I was like, does anybody know what is going on here?
And for some students, the debate made a difference.
Just because I knew more about the candidates, so I wanted to vote for different ones that I hadn't even put a vote in before.
Campaigning just doesn't end at town halls. It actually starts here on campus where candidates have their posters, have their tables, handing out handouts, trying to get students out to vote, and even in some cases, showcasing their livestock.
You want to pet a cow?
Even in the rain and cold, candidates stayed outside, continuing their push for student support.
It's been super busy, been a lot of running around and skipping meals and not having time to do the things that maybe I would typically do in a day, but
USU's new Student Body President is Max Alder. He is here with me live. Max, how are you feeling?
I've never been happier in my entire life. This is, to no exaggeration, the best moment of my entire life, and I could not be more excited, more happy, and more thrilled, and more proud.
That's so great. Congratulations once again. What are you looking most toward when you get into office?
My team. We just elected an amazing group of officers, and I always said during my campaign that electing me means that USUSA will be at their best, and I'm here to guarantee that, so I'm excited to get to know them a lot better and work with them for the next year.
Once again, congratulations, Max. You ran a successful campaign.
I did.
Let's see who else won the elections this year. Moving on, we have J.J. Watts. J.J. Watts is the Executive Vice President-elect. Watts was running unopposed, so this isn't too surprising. He says one of his goals is to build a new student fees website that'll make it easier for students to understand where their money is going. And Colin Hastings has won his re-election and continued to be our Student Advocate Vice President. Hastings says one of his goals is to make it so parking tickets can be paid off through service hours. You can visit our Facebook page for a list of who won today's elections. Reporting live, I'm Olivia Hatfield, ATV News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Olivia.
Money is flowing back to the university after the legislature approved USU's Strategic Reinvestment Plan and fully restored the university's funding. Jackson Day joined President Mortensen to find out what that means going forward.
We would request that the Executive Appropriations Committee return the rest of the strategic reinvestment funds.
President Mortensen addressed a committee of the Utah legislature for about 45 seconds last week before they voted.
Any opposed? And that is unanimous.
I had talked with a couple other members of the committee earlier in the day, and they said, just be brief. You're good. We've already decided we're going to give you the money back.
Mortensen says this trip to the Capitol was mostly a formality, but it's taken nearly a year to get here.
It's been quite the transition of trying to lead with 4 presidents and leadership changes and all these different factors with audits and reviews.
This all started about a year ago, and the legislature passed this law, House Bill 265, which requires that universities across the state adjust their budgets to meet criteria like professional outcomes, statewide workforce demands, and the institution's mission and role within the statewide system. In English, that means they had to move money from programs with low job placement rates and low wages to programs with higher outcomes and more demand. Here at USU, those new programs
include everything from a vet tech program that will serve some of our more rural campuses to beefed up offerings around artificial intelligence and data science here on the Logan campus.
Looking at the published reinvestment plan, you can see money is being taken from the Doctor of Physical Therapy program, for example, but the money is being reinvested into new programs like behavioral neuroscience. This is a list of how much money each school across the state was required to reinvest. Here at USU, we needed to move over $12 million. And until the legislature approved each school's planned budget, they withheld that money.
We've already gotten the wire transfer back, and so those funds are back in the university's coffers, and we're excited to be through that part of the process.
Mortensen says some people might think the legislature overstepped and forced these changes on the university. But he says,
sometimes it takes a little shock to the system like this to remind us of our responsibility as leaders to be thoughtful about how we distribute resources.
Jackson Day, ATV News.
Mortensen says he's hosting a town hall on March 6th to answer questions about the plan.
Across the state, county clerks are verifying thousands of signatures in an effort to put Proposition 4 back on the ballot. Now, some people want their name removed from this petition. A group called BURN, Brave Utahns Rapid Response Network, was created to oppose groups working to repeal Prop 4. USU students volunteers with BURN set up outside the Taggart Student Center over the weekend to help students remove their name from the petition before it goes back to the ballot.
A lot of people, they were lied to. They were told it was a different petition or that it was to protect against gerrymandering, even though it doesn't.
I remember signing something, I just don't remember anything about it, which is, I think, a problem.
The volunteers helped students look for their name on the petition, and if it was there, gave them the paperwork and envelope needed to remove their name. Each district in Utah needs verified signatures from 8% of their registered voters for Prop 4 to get back to the ballot. The official decision will be April 29th.
President Trump delivered the State of the Union address last night, claiming his administration has achieved a, quote, turnaround for the ages.
My fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Trump opened his speech calling this the golden age of America, saying his administration has made great accomplishments in foreign affairs, the economy, and border security. We asked USU students, what are your thoughts on President Trump's first year back in office?
I'm really happy with Trump's first year back in office. I think he's doing a lot of great things, better than Kamala would have done.
He is not an ideal president, and he should not be president at all.
My favorite thing that he's done is his transparency and the way that he has handled foreign conflicts.
In terms of a foreign policy, I think it's been a train wreck. Economically, I think things could be going better.
I don't like how he handles foreign affairs. I think we should be more diplomatic and be trying to work with them instead of working against them.
Bombing of Venezuela and the capturing of their president, additionally, is unconstitutional. He did that without any congressional approval.
I like that they took Maduro. I thought that was awesome.
I don't think that our president should be in office.
I think it's awesome. I love President Trump. He's amazing. I love what he's doing for our country.
He's done a lot of work to dismantle and sidestep important infrastructure in the government that's meant to keep the government just and balanced.
I like what he's done with the economy because I can afford a lot more things now, with groceries, and I'm doing a lot better financially.
I'm unhappy with how prices have risen in this country after he promised a lot of price cuts.
What he's doing on the border as far as the economy, it's been great for our country, and I'm happy to see it.
Disaster.
Of the 17 people we spoke to, 7 approved of what President Trump has done in the last year, and 10 disagreed. A Bernard Warming Center in Cache Valley is a place for people to stay in northern Utah with nowhere to go on a cold night. There are 4 to 5 volunteers who help out when the William A. Bernard Warming Center is open, but in total there are 63 volunteers to help. And as far as northern Utah goes,
this is the only warming center in Rich, Cache, and Box Elder County.
The warming center provides frozen meals that are donated from the snack pantry, cots to sleep on, along with coffee and snacks. The warming center is open 7 days a week from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. and 12 a.m. to 8 a.m.
After getting kicked out from their polygamous community, a group of teenage boys referred to as the Lost Boys were left to figure things out on their own. Jim Mangan photographed these boys to show what their life was like, and the art collection is now at the Harrison Museum of Art on campus. About 100 people attended the grand opening of this new exhibit on Saturday. This collection is titled The Crick because the boys told the photographer to meet them there.
You see this group of young men who have this really strong brotherhood. They're kind of, balancing this line between being kicked out of their community and the tragedy of that, but then developing this really strong sense of brotherhood amongst themselves.
The grand opening also featured another exhibit called Meet the Fletchers and shows the artwork from a family of artists.
Not only are the Fletchers important for Utah art history, but especially for Logan. Calvin Fletcher was a professor here of arts for more than 40 years.
With us, we have Erica from Weather. Erica, I have to say, I do like going to a good museum.
Yes, I love to just look at art. It's just so cool the way everyone does it so differently.
I know, it's insane.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like earlier today, the rain was painting the sidewalks with rain. And looking at the beautiful geology building, nice and sunny, and the current temperature is 52 degrees.
There's not one way to eat healthy.
The USU Food Pantry hosted a meal prep demo to support student nutrition. We'll show you what students and experts are saying about the updated federal dietary guidelines.
It's a holiday for all engineers.
We'll show you what activities the engineers at USU are up to during this national holiday.
I can't help but think of forever when I think of you. In dreams and in love, there are no impossible. If I know what love is, it is because of you. You are my heart, my life, my one and only thought.
I know that I'm falling in love with you.
That's Bistro, The Junction, Noni's Cafe, USU Dining Services, Love.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Welcome to ATV Weather. I'm Erica Mejia. Let's take a dive into the national radar. So on the east side of the country, we got most of the stormy weather going on, going into the Midwest and a little bit into Appalachia. And if we take a look on our west side over here, we've got stormy weather in the Midwest, as I said before. And then if we go to the east on Seattle, there is a bit of storm coming in, but not too much as it is on the east side. And if we take a look at our state radar, we've got some, looks like the stormy weather is kind of moving out of northern Utah, maybe into Idaho. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. And then today is mostly sunny, 50 degrees with the low of 34. Tomorrow is going to be mostly cloudy with some rain and 49 being the high, 32 being the low. Friday, 54 degrees of high 54, low 33. And if we take a look over here on Saturday, it's going to be pretty warm, but mostly cloudy with a high of 56, low of 40. On Sunday, kind of the same thing as Saturday, except with rain. We've got 54 as our high and 37 as our low. With Monday, 54 as well, and a low of 32. And if we take a look at Wednesday, it's almost 60 degrees with a low of 38 degrees.
Here at Utah State University, there is a
Thanks, Erica.
access
And guys,
center,
I
also
really do
known
wish that we were getting a little bit more snow instead of rain.
Yes, excuse those technical difficulties. I really appreciate the rain. I love the moisture.
Yes.
And yeah.
Love the rain.
Yes.
We need
So
it.
great. So great.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Erica.
Yes, thank you.
And with our next story, Utah State University's Student Nutrition Access Center has partnered with the Nutrition and Food Science Department to show students ways to meal prep. Join me in learning more about these tips and tricks and what the United States Department of Agriculture's updated diet guidelines for Americans might mean for college students.
Here at Utah State University, there is a Student Nutrition Access Center, also known as SNAC. Research says that food security impacts student retention and therefore can affect a student's schooling.
College students, I know, have limited funds and limited time.
Sometimes it'll be 4 p.m. and we're like, dang, I haven't eaten since last night or since this morning.
Dietetic students are teaching demos of how to do meal prep. They say that meal prepping is a great way to make sure you are eating good food even with a busy schedule. On Monday, they demoed how to prep breakfast burritos. Each step of the way, the dietetic students described what they were doing with the ingredients and the nutritional value that each ingredient has. Each student was able to make 2 or 3 breakfast burritos to have prepped for the rest of their week.
As college students, we usually make trade-offs when deciding what we're going to eat. And now government officials are saying that that decision might be something we need to pay a little closer attention to.
Earlier this year, the United States Department of Agriculture released an updated dietary guideline for Americans. I asked USU students about their thoughts on these updates, and the majority of them were unaware there was a change.
To be honest, I didn't know much about it, and so I'm going to go do my research.
Yeah, I also don't know too much about it, but I'm sure it's good.
Takes a better standpoint of not having a very myopic viewpoint of how foods work together.
Looking at the new pyramid, I think it is interesting how it flipped, and I feel like it should have been like this a long time ago.
I've always grown up around we always have try to have a lot of dairy, a lot of protein in our diets, which is what I love about the updated guidelines and stuff like that. I also love that it brings in a balance to it. I believe that you should have a good balance in everything that you're eating. That leads to, better health overall.
On the guideline, the heading reads, America is sick. They say 90% of U.S. healthcare spending goes to treating chronic disease.
That the U.S. leads out in the percentage of our population that struggles with things like obesity, heart disease, diabetes.
That outcome is a pretty good indicator that what we're currently doing and what we have been doing recently isn't working to provide good, healthy nutrition.
The USDA suggests straying away from processed foods and instead focusing on real food. Dietitians say that real food can be things like meat, whole fat dairy products, whole grains, and fruits and veggies. But the guidelines do not have a clear definition of a processed food, and this is where it gets tricky.
I think it stigmatizes a lot of perfectly healthy and cost-effective foods.
This gray area makes it hard for people to fully understand the guidelines.
For me, as a person who's not an expert in nutrition, it felt chaotic.
You cannot eat the foods that the current dietary guidelines are recommending in the amounts that they're recommending and keep your saturated fat below 10%.
I think the visual that they've chosen just doesn't actually represent the guidelines as well as it could.
Experts say that these dietary guidelines were never supposed to be public, but for federal government and nutrition experts.
Our hope is that, they'll create the education pieces that we had like MyPlate, and we will then be able to distribute those, and it will be much more easy for people to identify what a plate should look like when they're eating.
Because SNAC is a food pantry, they are not regulated to provide food strictly pertaining to the USDA's guidelines. Their main goal is to provide resources for students to be food secure. Experts say that as young adults, the nutritional choices we are making today will most likely impact us for the rest of our lives.
USU is celebrating E-Week this week. Engineering Week, aka E-Week, is a national holiday celebrating engineers. Engineers at USU are celebrating their E-Week by doing activities, giving out awards, and having a good time.
It's pretty much just a fun time to have fun, eat food, and just enjoy being an engineer.
Activities like Calculator Countdown, where a problem is displayed and players have to race to figure it out. Whoever is the quickest wins. E-Week at USU lasts till this Friday, and tonight's activity is cardboard boat racing. And joining us is Elise with sports, and you guys, I feel like going to cardboard boat racing would be super fun tonight.
Oh my gosh, it looks so fun.
It would be cool, but there's also a women's basketball game tonight.
Oh,
so you have to choose.
Yeah, it's a hard decision.
You have to choose where to go to.
Yes.
But there's also a men's basketball game. It's away. It's a big one. It's against San Diego State. So that's one that you should probably tune into.
Don't want to miss that.
Don't want to miss
sure.
it. And we're going to look back at last week's games, and coming up.
Really proud of Zach Keller. We let him light the A up. This kid is just getting better and better.
That's a name you may not recognize. I'll show you why this game meant so much to Zach Keller.
I like all the guys that they're doing it. They're so fun.
We'll show you why it's so rare for junior high girls to be stunting with guys.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
UEmergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. UEmergency provides instant access to vital resources, customized to your student's campus and local community, digital consent form, and built-in urgent alert button. UEmergency gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Download your UEmergency app now.
Trying to give everything I got, leave no regrets on the court, whether I play good or bad, just come give everything I got.
Senior Zach Keller finished USU's game against Boise State with a season high in his final year of college basketball. Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Elise Archibald. USU's home game against Boise State had a crowd of over 10,000 people, even after class at USU was canceled and Logan got about 9 inches of snow. You can see right here as Zach Keller opened up for the Aggies, scoring their first 7 points. After that first layup, Keller made a 3-point shot, and then, thanks to an assist from Adlin Elamine, he dunked the ball. The Broncos pulled ahead until a 3-point shot from Colby King secured an Aggie lead for the rest of the game. The Broncos do tie it back up at 23 points, but Carson Templin stopped them from pulling ahead. You can see there, he swats the ball out of bounds before it goes into the basket. There's another angle of that shot. Templin then pulls the Aggies ahead with a 3-pointer. And into the second half, Adlin Elamine scored the first points with a 3-point shot. Mason Falslev then makes 7 points in a row with a layup, followed by a jump shot, and then a 3-pointer. With 9 minutes left in the game, the score is 55-35 Utah State. Drake Allen rebounds a missed shot from Boise, throws it across the court. You can see another angle of that right here. And MJ Collins Jr. takes the chance to dunk the ball. And with 3 minutes left, Falslev goes in for a dunk, bringing his total score for the game to 17 points and ending the game with an Aggie win of 75-56. After the win against Boise, the Aggies went to Reno to play the University of Nevada. Utah State was expected to win and was leading most of the game, but they fell short in the last 2 minutes with the final score of 80-77, ending their 8-game winning streak. The Aggies play tonight against San Diego State. They're the number 2 team in the conference, and we'll see if our Aggies will still be number 1 after tonight. And this last week, Utah State had another win against Boise State, this time in gymnastics. Among the top athletes was junior Isabella Vader, who tied for the win on bars and floor. And USU's high-scoring athlete was sophomore Olivia Orengo, with a total of 29.575 points in the meet. Orengo won beam and tied for first on bars. This meet was Utah State's 9th highest scoring in program history, with an Aggie winning every event. Right now, Utah State sits in the second in the Mountain West Conference, just behind Air Force, who they will compete against this Friday right here at the Spectrum. Okay, guys, are you gonna be there at the meet?
Yes, well, I went to that one against Boise, and it was my first one, and I thought it was so cool. So I am planning to be there.
I know, they're so fun, but I have to say I'm not very good with gymnastics. I know more about cheer and dance. Cool. And usually you see guys lifting the cheerleaders at USU games, but younger girls can't practice stunting with guys because junior high boys are smaller. Thanks to the Spirit Squad, that changed this week. Teachers and students dance together at the Spirit Squad clinic. Some come from cheer, some come from dance, and they come together to learn dance routines and stunts.
I just want them to know the ins and outs of the program so that they want to be a part of it.
The Utah State Spirit Squad hosts this 5 times a year for performers ages 14 and up.
I'm thrown up in the stunt and then going to extension.
Here at the Spectrum, Coach Morgan says they do clinics like this to help students feel like they belong. And they pair them up with students like Grant to help them with their stunting.
I like all the guys that you're doing it. They're so fun.
The Spirit Squad says their main goal for the clinic is to make students feel comfortable.
Wanted to make sure that they felt this was like fun, safe, like we're like us out there, we're there for them.
They learn different stunts and dance routines. Girls who often don't stunt with guys got the chance, and a chance to show Coach Morgan what they've got.
It's also really beneficial for me when I see them at auditions and I recognize them from clinics.
They will be hosting another cheer clinic on March 28th.
Yes. Thank you for watching this edition of ATV News.
You can watch this and other editions on our Facebook page.
We're going to leave you with some shots from the Spirit Clinic.
Have a great week, Cache Valley.